Hi everyone, my name is Tova Kaplan, and today I am breaking down the World Bank. The World Bank just held its annual spring meeting, so you might have heard about this in the news, but what is it? Well, I'm here to help. So first, some background. Essentially, the World Bank is a really large and influential international financial institution that gives grants and loans to low and middle income countries and dictates the funding priorities for worldwide development. It was founded in 1944 and is headquartered in Washington, D.C. The World Bank has 189 member countries and offices in over 130 locations. The World Bank provides over $45 billion in financial assistance to low and middle income countries and supports over 12,000 different programs for development worldwide. Now, the world is a highly complex place with many different forms of economies. Some countries are high income with lots of financial resources, while many others are low or middle income countries, and they might struggle to develop their economies and provide for their citizens. And the World Bank tries to make that possible. So, second, why does the World Bank exist? What obligations does the global community have to help lower and middle income countries through giving or lending money? Now, this really takes us back to one of our core questions. Why help other countries? Why would the global community set up this kind of bank in the first place? Why is it important to have interconnected economies? And how can different global institutions improve people's economic welfare? Well, let's take a quick look. First, the World Bank was established after World War II as one of the Bretton Woods institutions, with the goal of rebuilding the global economy following the devastating Second World War. This was definitely a driving belief that helping individual countries recover and rebuild will ultimately help us all. The World Bank's stated goal is to end extreme poverty, reducing the percent of the global population that lives in extreme poverty to only 3% by 2030, and promoting shared prosperity by increasing the incomes of the poorest 40% of people in each country. In addition, the World Bank provides support for countries to address big challenges they're facing at home, which are often global challenges too, like climate change. These challenges cross borders, and the loans or grants provided by the bank help individual countries play their part. And that's all good, right? Well, not so quick. There have been long-standing major concerns with the World Bank. For one, although the World Bank represents over 180 countries, power within this institution is held by the wealthy. There are 25 executive directors who represent member countries, and while wealthier countries may have their own, many other countries, in particular poorer countries, share them. Further, many would claim that the bank serves to keep poor countries in debt without end. Many poor countries spend relatively huge amounts on their debt payments that have accumulated over decades instead of putting that money back into their own country. In addition, there have been long-standing concerns over the accountability of the bank. Who does it answer to? This is even more interesting considering that the institution, again controlled by wealthy nations, has a large role in deciding the priorities for global development of the global community. For example, decades ago, there was a big focus on large-scale infrastructure projects, which put money in the pockets of Western companies to build dams and roads in the name of development. And there have been many cases of those projects going horribly wrong, displacing people, benefiting mainly the rich, and once again spiraling the borrowing nation even further into debt. Now, why should youth care about this institution, and what can we do? Well, first, here in the United States Congress approves a large donation to the World Bank every 5 years through a process called IDA replenishment. Many groups monitoring the bank use this as a moment to demand Congress articulate priorities for the institution during that time. For example, not doing bad things that hurt smaller countries, like I mentioned above. Now, you can, if you live in America, you can reach out to your Congress people and hold them accountable and ask them to articulate their priorities. And why should we care about this personally as young people? Well, our lives are intertwined with the economies and countries that we live in. Financial decisions that institutions like the World Bank make could impact our ability to find jobs, make a living for ourselves, start families, and more. And that's why it's important to learn how the different institutions in our world, like the World Bank, operate and keep them accountable for doing their job. Thank you so much, and have a great day.